Company groups is a way to disconnect the actual company name and also allow multiple companies inside a single group actually. In that way, it makes it very easy to assign permissions, especially for people having maybe access to almost every company. And in the case of having an easy security company, that is a typical scenario. It does not need to actually match company names. So maybe in a test database, you're using a company name with a date in front of it based on what date you did the backup and restore of that one. But you can still have the same security being used against completely different companies. When you rename a company or you create a new company, it requires a few things to be done to match up the company groups against the new data in here. I have a database that actually has 4 companies in here right now. So if I go look at it, I have an easy security, and then I have a couple of companies in here with Kronos in the name in here. In easy security, as I installed it, I would have got the 4 records matching the exact company names in here. And if I look at one of them, I'll have a single company inside in here. But if I look at the group operations, I can see I have Europe and North America in here. If I later would go add another company, I would actually be able to just add it to the group, and the way it assigned to users would all get access to that new company. I didn't have to change anything. So if I go here and add a new company, I will go in and under administration here, create a new company inside NAV in here. As that new company is now created, when I get back to Easy Security and our company groups, nothing has really changed in here. If I try to do a publish, I will actually see in here that I get a message saying that my company does not match in here. So I can either do the get new data from live, but I actually also have a function in here where I can simply get only the new companies in here. So as I finished the function, I didn't really get anything new in here, but I have a function up here where I can actually go in and create a company group per company. So since I had a new one, I can see my new Kronos Asia. But I probably also wanted my operations group to contain Kronos Asia in here also. So I would go in and edit this one and add my Kronos Asia in here. So in that way, I have now changed that one, and if I want to make all this apply to my users, I will now go and publish my permissions, and I would see that several people will now gain access to my Kronos Asia company based on this new change to my group in here. So my permission were published in here with my changes in here. If I go rename a company in here, I will actually get an error that I will have to deal with manually in here. So if I look at my companies in here, I can see the list of them. And let's say I actually wanted to have this company be renamed in here. So I will go in and say my Kronos Europe. It should really be Kronos Western Europe. As I rename this company, it of course will go through and do the changes in here. If I come back to the company groups inside Easy Security and I now try to do a publish, I will see that it does not match in here. It says there's some inconsistency in the data. So the first thing I would have to do is get new data from live in here. Basically pull in the information. This one will of course bring in my Kronos Western Europe now, so I could select it in here. there will still be a few records I'll have to deal with manually, and I'll show how the easiest way is to find those, even if you have many different company groups assigned in here. So the new data has been pulled in here. If I look at it right now, I didn't have any changes, but again, I can create my company group now to match Kronos Western Europe in here. If I try to do a publish, I will actually still see I get an error in here. This one is now saying the company name must be blank for this company group, Kronos Europe, because that company don't exist any longer in here. The way I can see that, if I now open up Kronos Europe, I will see that the company exists is now no in here. I can actually see that in a different way also in here. If I drill down on the list of companies in here and get rid of all filters, I'll be able to see based on which groups. I can see that some of them say no in here. So in Kronos Europe, I have this company that don't exist any longer. I also had it inside operations in here. So I have to deal with these two where the company don't exist any longer. One option here is, of course, I can just delete this one, and that will probably be the right way. In operations, I can see my Kronos Europe is not in there anymore. So I will select the Western Europe, and I will get rid of this line in here. So I can now go ahead and publish my permissions. And this one will, of course, because of the group, change all the underlying data for the people in here. So there's a few extra things to be able to deal with, but basically the grouping allow a lot of disconnect and a lot of reuse of security, even between completely different databases. This, of course, works well with the import and exports we have for permissions for individual logins. So the part here where we make groups of companies is really simplifying it and makes an easy way of not giving people access or even to be able to see the easy security company in here. Renaming and new companies, of course, require only a few things to be dealt with.